Gog and Magog. Why World War III? It is important to remember that everything the system does is according to a certain messianic-kabbalistic script with a clear purpose for a precise goal and idea. The ritualized script must be repeated until it reaches perfection, only then can its desired purpose be fulfilled. As in every ritualized ceremony, everything has to run in the perfect order, and this is also valid for the whole apocalyptic end time plan up to the messianic revelation. And we talked about in the Apocalyptic End Time Plan, the video, we didn't went into the part of Gog Magog so much. That's why this is a little extension to it. So Gog and Magog is not the World War III, but the last step to create the great division for the Great War, Gog and Magog, the great messianic war, before the return of the Messiah and when after all will be well. This is their script. But the Third World War has started with the United Nation in 1945. Since then, everything gets twisted. They call it to make peace and security, and this is what means. Peace means war. Security means to go into countries. So since 45, they have overtaken countries, governments. They have infiltrated. They have overturned. They have invaded. Many wars, and this is the ones who propose peace, that creates war. They call them united, and they divide, and they want more freedom, and it's more slavery. So we can clearly see that everything is completely twisted, and therefore the Third World War is already going on since quite a while. And we are reaching now like this end maybe of Third World War and going into this Gog and Magog illusion. All three major religions are literally looking forward to this event. Even non-religious people are consciously or unconsciously support this idea. Like we showed in the Kabbalah video, how deeply Kabbalah is infiltrated in everything that is esoteric, New Age, all things that they call spiritual, yoga, and all this stuff, everything is included. So all this organization or this this religion, this belief, or even the people who believe in system, in science, everything is included in this event they're preparing since a couple of hundred of years. So Gog and Magog refers to the enemies against whom God will wage apocalyptic war at the dawn of the Messianic age. This is what they believe. So even in the Islam, they call it Yajuj and Majuj. Sorry if I didn't spell it right. Is in Islamic eschatology, two hostile, corrupt forces that will ravage the earth before the end of the world. Again, this great battle. So even in Hindu, twin general who will aid the demon Kali and his battle against Kalki, Koka and Vikoka. So you find in this is always the same script, just on a different layer, no matter the religion, and they are all looking forward to this. So we have to comprehend that everything that is happening in the system is according to this plan. And like to say, they really want, they're looking forward to this great war. And also even the technocratic moguls and the transhumanist nightmare of the Great Reset are all part of this agenda. So it have to come, it have to go to a complete war, as we are already show who will be the biggest enemy, will be the people, life itself. Life itself will become the biggest enemy of the system, because this is the only thing that can overturn or put problem in all these different scripts. So Agenda 21, 30, 45, 50 is all the same messianic script. Okay. So Gog and Magog, under the guise of the great war between good and evil, will be the total hybrid war against every living being. Underground, in the air, space, not only between countries, but also within the countries, the community, the family, everywhere. They will attack the food, the water. They will create scarcity, conflict, hunger, starvation, suffering, as we are already shown in these different videos, as they plan to make people starve again, to make great conflict between all the nations, between all the families that we have seen last 2 years, how they reach to divide everything. So financially, political, by promoting digital government and robotics, to put like also the politician in the grave. They want that because they want digital government. They don't want any politician who could fail. And all this social credit and all this stuff. But most of all, it will be the mental in every corner on earth. That's the goal. It's the goal that people are getting completely fucked up. And the result we can see. The war in the mind, on the screen, in the media, on the television, on internet. It doesn't have to happen, really. And this is very important to comprehend. So we will just listen to a rabbi. Maybe he is quite contradictive, but let's see what he is saying about all that.
Tracted Megillah, page 17b. It says, "Hatchalat ha'geula milchama." The beginning of the redemption is going to have to be with a war. What is the order that it gives there? It says,
so the beginning of the redemption have to be with a war. Important to see that.
Interesting, and you can find two sources with it. Tracted Megillah, page 17b, and in Tracted Sanhedrin, page 97a. First, it says the beginning of the redemption is war. Umot mitgarot zo bazo. The nations revoke each other. They, so to say, rub shoulders against each other, provoking each other. So they come and put some battleship here to provoke them. And they will move some missiles over here, they provoke them. The next stage will be threatening with weapons. So you see every now and then a nation, they make a parade and they're showing all their weapons, marching with thousands of soldiers and big trucks with missile launchers and drones and submarines, and they're showing, this is what I have. This is called the Yumim B'Neshek. They're threatening, look how much weapons I have. The third is that small organizations will take a practical, physical action in the war. Now, where do we see that? As we see ISIS, Hezbollah, Hamas, all these little organizations that are always created by a different country and a different government. Don't be...
As we already also have shown with the Hamas, who is really behind Hamas. Where we have it here.
naive. All these terror organizations are created by the governments that are trying to continue the war but without getting their hands dirty. And we see that all these little organizations, and they do the fight. I mean, now, if Israel and Iran constantly are rubbing shoulders, there's no confrontation between Israel and Iran. But Iran is paying money to Hezbollah, throwing missiles at us. And they pay the Hamas, so the Hamas is throwing missiles at us. And they pay Islamic Jihad, so they're doing the terror. But Iran says, I didn't do that. Okay, this is what it means. Small organizations will take part, and you see that the same with ISIS and Al-Qaeda and many others. And after all this, eventually will be the war. So we got to all three stages, but not to stage number 4. We didn't get yet to the war. And of course, that I'm saying as a side note, that stage number 5 is Gog and Magog war. That's a whole different war than the actual wars that it's talking about. So we see.
So why a big war? The answer is, of course, having complete chaos and create the order out of it, to destroy everything and start again. What they are proposing, we have already exposed in the whole transhumanistic stuff, where they want a new world in the metaverse, like they're creating the metaverse, and of course for this they need to divide everyone. So what they think is why they have to make this great war is because the greater the suffering, the greater the redemption and gift of God. And I say this again, the greater the suffering, the greater the redemption and the gift of God. So they have to suffer because only then God will redeem them. So everyone have to follow the same thing, because some people, a lot of people, follow exactly this Kabbalistic track. So it is the most widespread Kabbalistic mantra. All religions, faiths, cults, ritual practice, even science, finance, technology, politics are going all through this. They accept and they want to create the suffering. So the beginning of the redemption must be with a war. Biblical prophecies are the agenda. Yeah, this is what the Bible is for. And therefore they need the Antichrist, therefore need the Apocalypse, the Revelation, and all these different rituals have to be come. Then finally, a third temple, as we already talked about, is also part of this whole agenda. And then they hope finally to get the full redemption in the house of God for eternity. But it will be the proposal of you're going to eat the bugs. Yeah, this is the Klaus Schwab will be the kind of guys who will be behind this whole stuff. So the first step is nation provoke each other. Second is threat with weapons. Third, small organizations enter the war. ISIS, Hamas, terrorist. Fourth, a war. Fifth, the great biblical war of Gog and Magog. So are we in that it is already the war now, what they are creating between Russia? We have no idea. Is it planned that this is this one? As we said in the beginning, they have to repeat this bullshit until everyone falls in the trap. They need everyone. This is very important for them, because they could not do it without. So again, this whole the third temple stuff, yeah, they're really preparing all the time. Every year they're adding new stuff. Now they're starting they're not building the temple, but they are preparing the stone to build the temple. Yeah. So, and this is what they call how they start to create the temple. And of course, they have, and the same, it is for Christians, it is for the Jewish, and of course the Muslims have to play the part that they are not ready to do that, because it needs the great war that everyone will ask for the temple to be built. So before that, again, but they're starting to come together, during the pandemic. Yeah, so all the religions and stuff, the Vatican is also always having his thing in there. So the 3 stages of Gog and Magog, we will listen again to this rabbi, what he have to say exactly about all this.
People say Gog and Magog, the Holocaust was Gog and Magog. Look at all the sources that it's talking about Gog and Magog. It doesn't resemble the Holocaust in whatsoever. I'm not saying the Holocaust was not horrible, but that's not Gog and Magog. Go to all the texts about Gog and Magog and compare it to the Holocaust. One has nothing to do with the other. And we didn't go through Gog and Magog yet. Don't worry, you will see and feel the war. Chas v'shalom, because the ones who are holding on to Hashem will not feel anything. But nevertheless, there are 2 prophets who are talking about Gog and Magog. One of them is Yechezkel, who was a prophet from the time of Beit Rishon, of the first Beit HaMikdash, in the famous 2 chapters, 38 and 39. And the second prophet is Zechariah, one of the last prophets in line in the time of the Second Temple, and in his chapters 13 and 14. Now, I'm not going to start reading now and interpreting these chapters. Go home later, open your Tanakh, go to Yechezkel 38, 39, Zechariah 13 and 14, and read it with all the commentaries that are possible, and you will see exactly how they're talking about Gog and Magog, who, when, why, and what. Now, if this is the case, and the war is coming, so we can ask an eligible question, a good question. Who's Gog and Magog? Is Gog and Magog a person? Is that a country? Is that a nation? So the text says very simple. Gog is a king, and Magog is the nation, the country. Now, it doesn't mean that Gog, that's his name. And it definitely doesn't mean that the text says king. But once there wasn't such a thing as a prime minister, a president. But king means the leader of that nation. So it can be a president, can be a prime minister, or an actual king. But how many kings do we have? And
so you see that it is no longer about king or so. The king was the one who was the leader. So it could be something different. So the interpretation of this whole, it can also be adapted. That's why it is written this way, because it is an agenda. They have to fulfill it, but they have no idea what kind of technology or what kind of thing that would be really there. They didn't plan this, that to go on like that. They just had this innocent belief that they have to go through all that to get relief of their God. And this is what they did since religion, since belief exists. They have to make a lot of bullshit up that they can go on with the thing. We continue to listen to it.
The Abarbanel says that how are you going to recognize this war is that it's not going to even happen and you're going to be scared of it. So the Abarbanel says even if the war doesnn't even happen, we'll get to a point that it will just have the option of the war, or the name will be mentioned and everybody will fall into tremendous fear. So saying in other words, that's what the Abarbanel says, that Magog is a very, very strong nation. That if you just hear that they're coming to attack, Namogu kol yoshvechnan, you fall into unbelievable fear. So
this could be definitely Russia, but again, is it what is going on now, or is it again just another exercise to go for the real one? We don't know.
Okay, so we have a few powerful nations now in our generation: Russia, China, North Korea, maybe America. But anyway, it doesn't say, it just says a very powerful nation. Now, regarding to the very powerful nation, saying in other words, just to conclude his words, that they might not even have to do anything. Sometimes just by showing a little bit of strength, that's it, fear falls upon the person. This is one commentary. Second commentary is by the Ramchal, Rabbi Moshe Chaim Luzzatto, who says the war of Gog and Magog is the, I'll say it in Hebrew, then I'll translate, Shlita Achona shel Samech Mem. It's the last control of the Samech Mem. Samech Mem is the short, full name of the Satan. You can call him Satan, devil, Lucifer, call him whatever you want. We call him Samech Mem. His name is Samech Mem Aleph Lamed. He runs the show. He's on the top of the chain. He's in charge of everything that has to do with evil. And he has a few partners. But nevertheless, the Ramchal says that Gog and Magog is going to be the last of the time that he has control. Now, what does that mean? That he sees that he's about to lose power and he will go completely out of control. Now, the Ramchal says it in an interesting way by saying,
this is also what they try to portray on Putin, that he is completely out of control, or saying that he is ill. That's why he is now fighting like his last battle. Or yeah, like this kind of stuff is definitely going on, and that's why we are listening to the ones who really believe in this stuff, and they are. I agree that just again there are so many interpretations of this whole thing. You just have to see what is going on, and if you see like what they are proposing in their whole agenda, then we have to comprehend that it is all about this agenda. It is all about this end time apocalyptic agenda.
Sometimes a person is on his deathbed and they're like completely out, and then moments before they die, they gain strength, they say a few words and fall. So it says that's what's going to happen with the Samech Mem. Moments before he's out, he's going to go completely out of control, knowing.
And this also we also can see with psychopaths. This is what always was happening with psychopaths before they really get off. And if you continue to confront them, they get completely out of control. And they will try to defend their illusion with all what they have. And this is what's getting out of control. This is completely the psychopathic reaction when you are squeezed in the corner.
That he's about to lose his power and then he will be destroyed, saying that all hell is going to break loose. That's what the Ramchal says about Gog and Magog. Now I'm going to tell you quickly a side note that don't imagine Gog and Magog, nuclear bombs and jets, and this is one way. Gog and Magog as a war can happen in many different ways. I mean, the average individual thinks that the strength of a military is their bombs and their missiles, and especially nuclear bombs. And I have news for you. The technology and the weapons that armies have today, you don't even aware that they exist, even. 2.5 years ago, now, because of Corona, a little bit of the concept of 5G came up to the surface. Prior to even when Corona started, I gave a lecture, I was talking about 5G as a military weapon. Because it's a weapon. It's not a telecommunication technology. It's a military weapon. A very sophisticated and dangerous military weapon that it's not even new. In the Gulf War, the American Army used 5G technology on the Iraqi soldiers as a weapon. No guns, no fire, no missiles, only frequencies. And you think this is new? The Israeli army is using frequencies as a weapon for years. And this is one thing that we know a little bit about it. If you would just know a little bit of the type of weapons that governments have right now, Hashem Yerachem, has nothing to do with even bombs and bullets and missiles. So the war can be in a level that we not necessarily will be familiar to us. It can be through frequencies, it can be through radio waves, it can be in technology that we don't even know that exists. I'm not going to even now go into the option of extraterrestrials and all that stuff. That we're not going to even touch right now. But Gog and Magog is going to be, in the words of the Ramchal, all hell is going to be loose, and it can come in many different ways. Now comes the big question. Why do I need a war? Why can Hashem go like this and finish with it? That's a good question. Yeah, why everything has to be focused around the war? Why can't Hashem just do some and that's it, and the bad people are judged, the good people are saved, end of story? Okay, so there are three main reasons why we need this war. The main reason why we need the coming of Mashiach to be with a war, and again, easier for me, I'll read in Hebrew, then I'll translate. Gilui v'kiddush shmo ba'olam. What does that mean? The revelation and the sanctification of the name of Hashem in the world. Where do we learn this from? I told you, go to Yechezkel. The ones who are not familiar, Ezekiel.
So, there we have, it is written in their own script. Let's skip a little bit and listen another part here.
It says, I want to get to a point that my name will be revealed, it will be exalted, and everybody will know that I am the God, and everybody will serve and bow down only to me. So imagine how many, just in your mind, how many billions of people right now that are good people, that Hashem will make them survive the coming of Mashiach, but they just don't know nothing about the real true God. And they believe in different fake idols or different gods or whatever. So Hashem says, okay, first of all, I have to make order. Now, when a war is going...
Of course, their God is the right God. like every religion is saying exactly the same thing. You have to follow their God, otherwise you will be lost.
Happen, and the war, like I told you, is going to be much greater than what you think. It's not necessarily going to be flying bombs, because Gog and Magog, Hashem himself is going to come down and fight it. So obviously it's going to be in some miraculous way that people are just going to be shocked to see it, and eventually will know that that's the God of the entire world. So the main reason...
We go into these claims after.
Is the revelation and the sanctification of the name of God, that everybody will believe in God, in one God, all the rest will be nullified, and that's it. Reason number...
Nullified. So they call it nullified, yeah. To, of course, all the non-believers will not survive.
Separating the good and the bad, the pure and the evil. So that's what's going to have to happen here, because in the last few thousand years became a big mixture of everything. So why is that important? Why do we need to do that? Because in the last few thousand years became mixture of many bad things. So the first thing that we're going to need to make a separation, that in the last 3,000 plus years, we had many people who joined the Jewish faith as converts, but they're not true converts. They came into the faith for whatever reason. Now, if it's a ger tzedek, that's a true, 100% righteous convert. But there are many that are gerim that came into the nation just to cause problems. So this is the separation between the good and the evil. The next, as we spoke about...
Yeah, separation between good and evil. So this is what they believe. So the Great War, the Messiah, return of the Messiah, this is the plan. And they say when blood spill over Passover and Easter, it's time to build the temple. That's why all the time or around Easter, there are clashes between Israel and Palestine. And it is mostly provoked by Israel. But they are ready to set up, and they repeat, rehearse even all the time their sacrifice ritual and what really will be sacrificed at the end, because they say all humans become animals, so we equal to animals, and the way they want to sacrifice animals, will there be sacrifice of human, or will it already happen before? All this is, of course, again, rehearsed. And they have also there, as we already have shown many times, they found this red hyphae that they need and they create it. They just create it themselves. And then also, like, the Hamas threatened Israel over extremists' plan to bring sacrifice on the Temple Mount. This is also, like we said, it always needs the Islamic contrary, of course, to build up all this thing. But more and more Israelis are going on the Al-Aqsa Mosque or make incursions to this mosque that is reserved to the Muslims. So also this is very much increasing, and of course this is the great plan of the Jesuits, yeah. And we are in the middle of the Ignatian year, yeah. So again, to just show the influence and the power structure of all this Order of Malta, and the Jesuits are just the army of the Vatican, or Order of Malta, founded as the Knight Hospitaller around 1099 in Jerusalem, is a Roman Catholic chivalric society that received the Maltese island as a perpetual lease in 5030 from Charles Spain. The ones who don't know what Malta is really like a little island south of Italy that was taken by everyone. That is, I mean, the greatest island in the middle of the Mediterranean Sea for all the navigation, for war, of course, and they got it, and this is one of the most important islands for the whole commercial and maritime anyway. Charles Spain, in exchange for the promise of the Maltese falcon a year. Grandmaster Jean de la Valette, along with his knights, began created the country's new capital, which would be later described from the former British Prime Minister Benjamin Disraeli as a city built in the gentleman for gentlemen. Today, Fra Griten is the only remaining knight of the archipelago who has taken the order full vow, making him the last true knight of Malta, on Malta. So again, watch into the, and just to, again, if you look into the what Catholic also is, yeah, of the doctrine of the ancient church, what they claim, of the schism, literally universal accepted whole universe. So why the universe? Because again, universe and Baphomet represents the universe. Baphomet invented pagan or Gnostic idols or deity that the Templar were using of worshipping. So again, the same Order of Malta is worshipping Baphomet. And what they claim, Baphomet is a symbol of balance in various occult and mystical traditions originating with the Gnostic and Templar, throughout occasionally purported to a deity or a demon. Look into it again. And also about you will find all the time, you feel news about Israeli far-right groups calling dismantling the Dome of the Rock, Jewish holy sites. So again, if you watch into the news, Third Temple in Jerusalem, breaking news, you will always find these different conflicts just for the other thing. But again, these Jesuits are everywhere. They have schools everywhere. They have infiltrated everything from science, politics, banks, anyway. So the Jesuits are really everywhere. And again, for the war in Israel, the war have to happen in Jerusalem. This is for the war in Gog and Magog. And we have already showed this audience hall of the Vatican. There you have a a sculpture, and this sculpture represents the resurrection. But what they don't say that it is after a bomb exploding in Jerusalem, atomic bomb near Jerusalem. This is what represents this picture. So again, this is what they want. They want the whole idea of Messiah that will come. For that, they need one world nation, and they need to create this whole one world religion, one army, one thing, one everything. And they have announced it to the global governance. They openly announced their world government summit. They talk about it. So everything is in the same direction. So just to go quickly into hybrid warfare, maybe this is something that we hear a lot, but don't really comprehend what it is. Of course, it is regular military force. These special forces, irregular forces, support of local unrest. This is also, they profit, like we said, like the little groups who, the fake created little groups that they are making unrest. So information warfare, propaganda. We didn't have anything worse than what we have right now. I mean, the Western media, how they don't even expose, how they report the war is so completely fake. This is completely made up by CIA. The CIA had become the major news agency in the world. So again, diplomacy, cyber attacks also, this is of course something they will, if anything goes wrong with any kind of computer, they will put it on cyber attack. They can blame anyone they want. They can arrest anyone they want. It's a perfect war also to put on anyone. The economic warfare, what we can see right now with what they're doing with Russia, and of course it is the whole mental. It is all trauma-based mind control. The whole Russian fear, the whole Nazi fear from the Russians. They have the fear of the Nazi, and the Western have the fear of the Russia. So it's a perfect tool to use against each other. And then, of course, the whole blind support to Ukraine on the other side to chase the Nazi, as we said. But this is exactly how CIA is working and make everyone turn around in a hamster wheel to distract everyone as much as possible. This is, of course, the base of all what they're doing. And then, of course, going with either you're with us or you're with the terrorists. And this is on both sides. Russians do exactly the same than the Western is doing. This is, of course, how you stimulate the whole support of any kind of conflict. So the World War III, a lot of people talk about also this. We are on the war. They even told it. Macron in March 2020, he said we are in war, and even the beast of the event has arrived. This is like the biblical terms and so on. So they are going with this whole nuclear fear. This is something that a lot of people still don't comprehend what this whole game of the nuclear fear is. Also, like Russia, they will not say nuclear is fake, because they play the same thing. So it is also the war on liberty, it is the war on gender, it is the war on democracy, but finally it is a war upon life itself. this is very important to comprehend, that this whole Gog and Magog, all this great war before the redemption is, the goal is to destroy all life. And we saw it's like to make things have to get worse, that they can make more profit out of it. And this is the only way they can really get everyone implicated. So again, where the world war could actually, it is if a lot of tensions, they just build up everywhere. You can see that people get inspired by this war in Ukraine, and try to add something on this tension, but it will not get into nuclear war. And of course, again, the ones who say that Russia is just want to overtake Europe, they don't have the possibilities. They don't have the money. And as we can see in Ukraine, this is only going on because Ukrainians they are sick and tired of their own government, so they want Russians. So this will not work. This kind of war or going until Europe to convince everyone to participate in. So of course this is not happening. On the other side, they have to go into a false flag because Ukraine is really losing the war, and with it the whole reputation of the Western propaganda. So, but if people talk about nuclear, thermonuclear, or whatever, this is all bullshit. Yeah, this is if they start to say they have so much and so much atomic bomb. This is the whole propaganda, the fear propaganda, is only happening on the TV, and this is also what probably is going to happen. A lot of stuff will only happen on the screen. It's already going on like that. That is only on the screen, and on the screen you just have one side of the picture. You don't have the full picture. So this is the great war is going up in the mind and on the screen. This is probably what is really going on. A lot of people talk about the Project Bluebeam, and anytime they see anything or hear anything, so they come up with this Project Bluebeam. It is a project to project stuff, but it doesn't mean it is a certain kind of technology. So today they have drones, they have lasers, they have the whole network of and to project something in the sky will be no problem for that. And this is the kind of event they will have to create, that everyone believes it. Maybe different gods in different areas, and everyone will see it not on the screen, but they will see it on a cloud or something like that, and everyone will just get nuts. Like in China also, when they say they have floating cities, it is just that the fog from under. So we have to take care about stuff what is coming on the screen. But definitely they already make it now. Firework doesn't exist anymore. Now they have drone shows, yeah, and they have this Starlink system, whatever it is. If it's we mostly think it is drones, but with this they can project anything in the sky, and this is probably what is really going on. One part of it, they always make multifunctional tools. So of course for the moment people can get internet. The funny thing is always people have to announce where they are to get internet. So if it's a satellite, it would just be there. So maybe they just fly a drone over it, whatever. But they can project anything, or make you buy the next crap. So great war will not mostly happen with bombs. The tension that we could feel already the last 2 years was way more impressive than any kind of bombs that is falling down, because people are start to make their own ideas about it. But the nuclear is complete bullshit. Yeah, the ones who didn't saw the video of Galen Windsor, who exposed that the radioactivity is not dangerous as they claim. We would not be in a fusion reactor, like just touch a fusion reactor in fusion, but all the rest is again all based on this kind of bullshit myths. Yeah, same like the nuclear bombs and all this propaganda picture. That is just, yeah, this is miniature stuff, but it was of course a complete. We remember in the 80s they went nuts with all these movies and stuff to show that everyone gets really this picture of what nuclear can do and so on. And then of course Chernobyl came and all the food get contaminated, but we are still alive today. And also with the Fukushima, where when they claimed, yeah, this is the water is polluted everywhere, you have to say, yeah, but why is not red here? Because they made a lot of, in Australia, in New Zealand, they made a lot of tests in the 70s, 80s, 90s. They made a lot of tests, and we also have on the other side, there would be also other water contaminated. So again, this graphic is complete bullshit. It says nothing whatsoever. And here, the scientists capture an impossible photo of a single atom, the first time, and look what it is. Yeah, here it is. And this is the fantasy world they want to give us. So we have to comprehend that this is all the fantasy story they put in place. Yeah. This is all what they find, and now they will start again with CERN to make stuff. So it will be funny to see what they're coming up next. And that's why they also, like we say, they need this digital government. That's why they put all the politicians in this bad shape and light. And this is all staged. Yeah, I mean, he fall from the bike just in front of all these journalists. Yeah, just in the perfect place to fall that everyone will again talk about. He missed always like stuff, but this is acting. People have to comprehend that this is the complete acting what they want. They want now that people are occupied to talk about the politician, no matter what they do. They fall from the bike, they go jogging in a stupid clothes. This is how they attract people's attention. Exactly like this. Yeah. To make people talk about bullshit that doesn't concern anyone, but they're gonna talk about it. Yeah. It's the same as they just want to push on the other side, on the one side, and hero or zero, and this is all what they're gonna do with it. So if we're gonna look in what they call this whole revelation, if we take it into the actual situation or what already happened, so the first seal is the white horse, had a bow, given a crown, went out conquering. So corona means crown. So we have already the white rabbit also was also here. On the next we have the second seal, the red horse. Peace removed, violence break out, has a sworn. And again the red horse, communism, China, Russia, is also going on. Hold on, we are going just back one. Okay, let's see here. Red horse, and now it goes to the black horse. Balanced scales, huge inflation. This is what is right now. Oil and wines barred. The fourth seal, pale horse, dead has had it with him. Earth killed with sword, famine, dead and beasts. We just continue. Fifth seal, martyrs cry out, how long? Not until the number of brethren to be killed is complete. So they have to kill some, like what we say, there will be a separation. Yeah, will be a separation of the good and the bad people. Sixth seal, celestial signs. Yeah, celestial signs again. This whole blue beam or whatever they want to project on there. Earthquake, sun darkness, moon turns red, star falls, skies recede like a scroll. And seventh seal, the rapture, heaven silence about a half hour. Come up here, and then the Messiah will arrive. Just from another, what they also talk about, the white horse had the bow, crown, give to him, conquering, went out conquering. It went quite out conquering, this whole stuff. So plague, hunger, again, terror, the red horse, war. That is also what is happening right now. And the third seal, famine. This is also what they announce. Nation via nation, famine, beginning of birth pains. And this is also what we have to comprehend, that they think we have to go through pain to get a rebirth. So that's why they have to make also all this suffering, because without this suffering, there will not be a rebirth. This is also like, again, a man interpretation of a woman get birth. This is not the pain we feel as man when we get hurt somewhere. This is completely something different. We, as man, we can't describe it, but if it would be really that pain, a woman would not make 2 or 3 children. This is, if it would be really that horrible. But why she's remembering the child when he's here and not the moment of birth, if it would be really that painful, right? So we are not saying, we as man, we would not get through this pain. We could not cope it. Yeah, we would knock out in the beginning of the labor. So again, fifth seal, judge, avenge our blood, rest until number filled of brothers killed. This is always coming up also. Huh? Tribulation kill you, and you will be hated by all nations. The sun became black, blah, 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 trumpets, 7 trumpets, and so on. This is also what we have shown in the whole Noahide law, what they want to announce, yeah. Again. And then the last trumpet and the Messiah will come. Something that we didn't show you before, that is how BlackRock, for example, is talking about the dangers that could happen. Russia-NATO conflict, major cyber attack, global technological decoupling, major terror attack, emerging markets political crisis, US-China strategic competition, North Korea conflict is always coming up every year, Gulf tension, climate policy, gridlock, European fragmentation. Yeah, this is what BlackRock is announcing as catastrophe that may or could happen. To resume is again to show it is important that all these events that are going on are in a quite organized order, even if it's chaos. But the goal is again to have this kind of redemption, and all the religions, all the fanatics are into this, and this is quite obvious to see. And maybe we have also to remind all these fanatics, and maybe it also explains why these fanatics are always so extremely aggressive, and why, if you put that in question, they will just, this is where they get redemption. They don't want to take full responsibility about what they did. They want redemption from God. And that's why they are this fanatic also to get into this agenda and to fulfill this whole agenda. So maybe some people get more clarity. We are not here to create any more confusion, but to more observe this with distance, and also to stay alive, because if we are getting sucked into this whole system, then we are part of this agenda. We will become part of this agenda. Thanks for watching.